You know what, this is the second time I'm shooting this video, because the first time I did it, I thought, oh no, I'm going a little bit long, and the mean people on the internet might say bad things about a long video. I've seen it before. Oh my god, 30 minutes to talk about a freaking gun, oh my god, I'm gonna shoot myself. You know what, screw that, I'm gonna do my own reviews. If you want to see one of those basics videos, look at the time slot and it's over 3 minutes, click off of it. Let's talk about guns. Who doesn't like talking about guns? Anti-gun people? Well, even they like talking about guns. But what we have here is my current carry gun, and I'm going to start with it because the next couple guns, well, I guess this is kind of a base for them. Now, you've seen one of the guns in this, well, two if you've seen my EDC videos, this being one of them. You've seen one of the guns in this video, and it was the Sig Sauer P238 that I showed off in my Christmas video. Got a lot of good compliments on that. A lot of people said it was a very beautiful gun, and I have to agree, despite the fact that it has pink on it, which, oh no, that's... I don't know if I'm secure enough with my sexuality to carry that. Just kidding. I'm a little bit more secure with myself to not care. I think it's a beautiful gun either way. But we're going to show off that, and there's another mystery gun here. That's what the question marks are about. Some of you may have guessed by the caliber. I don't know, you may have got a hint from the Christmas video, but we're going to see about that. Anyway, this is a Glock 26. It's my current concealed carry gun, and I love it. I have had issues with it. Not issues like, oh my god, it's a bad gun, I've had issues. But I have had at least one malfunction with it. And you know how much I care about? That 0%. Because this brings me to my first topic. I hate people that say, I wouldn't carry a gun unless it had 100% reliability, because 100% reliability is a pipe dream. It's never going to happen. If even for the fact that one of your rounds in there, say they didn't drill out the flash hole, it happens, everything has mistakes. Then, oh no, you have a malfunction with your 100% reliable gun. What are you going to do? I haven't had many malfunctions with this gun, though. I believe I may have only had one, and that was due to some idiot loading the magazine. You know who you are. But I would trust my life to this gun absolutely without a doubt, because again, 100% reliability is a pipe dream. I cannot stand that notion that, oh, I had a gun, I fired 1,000 rounds through it, and on 1,001st round I had a failure to eject. That's it, it's going back to the store. Nonsense. You need to train for the failures. You don't need to worry about that 100% reliability. That's just a little pet peeve that I have, something that irks me. Another thing that irks me is this gun is loaded. No, not the fact that it's loaded that irks me. I love the, I don't know what they wanted, I don't even know, the trolls, let's call them trolls, that say, oh my god, you're an internet commando that waves around loaded guns in his house. I just had a comment on that. Yes, you're an internet commando, and then I think he went on to, after the internet commando, when was the last time you had consensual sex with a woman under 200 pounds? And, barring the obvious your mama joke, we kind of had a little back and forth there. I love having fun with these trolls, but anyway, the thing is, loaded guns are not any more dangerous than unloaded guns. The only thing's dangerous is when you start reaching in that trigger guard there. And the thing is, you have no idea the condition of this weapon. It could be unloaded. I could have just lied to you there. This could be a dangerous direction. This could be a safe direction. Who knows? You don't know, so don't worry about it, okay? I'm telling you that this gun is loaded right there. That shouldn't freak people out, because it's just as safe loaded as unloaded. People that think a loaded gun is any more scary than an unloaded one are, well, misinformed when it comes to gun safety rules, because an unloaded gun is just as dangerous as a loaded one, because people have been shot with unloaded guns before. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Oh my god, it's almost been 4 minutes, and I haven't even shown the first new gun yet. So, why did I show this EDC gun here, this concealed carry gun? Well, that's because I need something a little bit smaller and thinner for summer. I considered the Walther PPS, because Walther is my brand, and the PPK, and the Ruger LCP, and I decided I wanted to switch things up a little bit, and go with a company that I hadn't had any guns with yet, and I happened to handle one of these next guns in the store, and I realized that I had to have it. This is the one I've already shown in the Christmas video, but we're going to show it off a little bit more here, get a little bit better views of it. This is the Sig Sauer P238 Rainbow Tribal version. It is my first 1911 air quotes style pistol, i.e. the first metal frame single action only pistol that I have. This is the Rainbow Tribal version, so it's got the rainbow controls here, rainbow mag release, slide release, safety here. It's got this sort of rainbow pattern here. It's got this kind of pinkish on the top. It's got a orangish pink here on the side. The other side of the magazine release here, all these pins are all rainbow. I think it's very beautiful. And another thing you'll notice is the slide here. I mentioned this before in my earlier video, it's a natural stainless, so it's actually got a bit of a golden tint to it. and it just really fits in my hand really nice. Single stack, 380 ACP. Let's take a look at the magazine here. We take a look at the bottom of the magazine here. It says 380 auto, Sig Sauer, very nice constructed magazine here. I do fault Sig a little bit for only giving you one magazine with a $600 gun, but hey, what can you do? And it's got the Meprolite night sights on it, and they are really bright. They are like Luminox watch faces. If you've ever had a Luminox watch or any sort of tritium watch face, the Luminox that I had failed me miserably, and I'm upset about that. But it really doesn't have anything to do with the tritium. The tritium didn't fail. It leaked when I had it in the water, which is not good for a scuba diver, but I wasn't scuba diving at the time. Nice rosewood checkered grips here. The trigger on this, and I can't really give a full overview of what I think about the gun, but this is just kind of be a show off for these two guns, not really a review. The trigger is a little bit heavy for a single action. I'd say it's about 8 pounds or so. It actually feels like the trigger on my NAA mini revolver, i.e. a little too heavy for the mini revolver, a little heavy for this too, but I can't complain too much. It's not supposed to be a competition trigger, it's supposed to be a defense trigger. I mean, it's almost heavy enough that I don't really think it should have this manual safety here. I'm not a huge fan of safeties on my guns, that's why I carry the Glocks. But, yeah, again, I really need to shoot it more. And the problem is I cannot find 380 anywhere. It's a round that I really want to start reloading because I can't find it anywhere. Well, why don't you just buy it on the internet? Ha! You silly peasant! Are you crazy? Us peasants cannot buy ammo on the internet in New York anymore. That is for the elite class. That is for the people that live in America. That has nothing to do with citizens of New York, subjects of New York. We can't buy ammo online anymore. Are you insane? To think that you should be able to get something that you can just freely buy in the store without any sort of serial number or background check to ship to your house. Are you crazy? What kind of idea is that? I doubt that's ever been legal in New York. You must be bananas. So yeah, I can't find any 380 around here. I've shot 19 rounds through it so far, and they've all been this Remington Golden Saber 380 auto, just some defensive rounds because I haven't had any FMJs to shoot through it. I really can't find any ammo for it, though. I keep checking the stores, and they don't have any, and I assume when I find it, it's going to be ridiculously priced because they don't have to compete with the internet sales anymore, thanks to our dear leader, SAFE Act. But, you know, what can we do about that? He's keeping people safe. A lot of the gangbangers out there go through their NICS and background check to get ammo, right? No, I'm sorry, the background check's delayed. What am I, crazy talk? But yeah, I'd love to go out and shoot this thing more. It feels, and I said this before, it feels like really well made, like when you're holding a nice Apple product. That's what I always like to use. That standard just feels really nice in the hand. It's got good weight to it. Metal frame here, aluminum alloy frame. The magazine is really well made. Really can't complain about it. Love to give a range report, maybe doing shooting videos, but I've discussed my problem with shooting videos before. Filming issues. I'll try to get a few more in though. And I'd like to at least give a range report and a full review on that, but can't find the friggin' ammo. But I do plan on reloading for it, and I did just order a Hornady Lock and Reload Auto Progressive Press, so that will definitely up my reloading numbers, make things easier. Hopefully I'll be able to shoot a good bit more. But you've seen this gun already. What is the mystery gun? Well, you know, I figured we kind of went in one direction with this gun. This is the small, dainty, petite gun, the girly gun in a girly caliber. I wouldn't be caught dead with a 380. Oh, wait, there's a Glock's coming out with a 42. Good for the 380, that's adequate, absolutely. Yeah, that's the funny thing I've been noticing about 380. It's always been the wimpy pussy, wouldn't touch that, I wouldn't defend my grandmother's cactus with it round, but Glock's coming out with 142. Oh yeah, 380, man, stop, it's just fine. The funniest thing I know, I never had a problem with 380, but I mean, I wouldn't choose it over a 9mm, but you can't get 9mm size guns in 380. Well, not all the time. They're getting a little bit better. You can get the Sig 938, which is 9mm, but it is a little bit bigger than this. I just wanted it because it's caliber I haven't had. It's, you know, I just like different calibers. That's just me. So anyway, yes, this is the small, petite, oh my god, petite version. Nobody should ever shoot that. You must not be a man if you shoot that. Well, to go in the other direction, just a hair. Put this gun over here to the side. To go in the other direction over here, I mentioned the caliber before. And if you guessed it, good on you, because the gun is a Glock 20C 10mm auto, which is the polar opposite of the 380 pretty much. It is one of the most powerful semi-auto handgun calibers available, unless you're getting something exotic like a Desert Eagle, which are illegal in New York now, chambered in 50 AE or 44 Magnum or something like that. It's more powerful than 940 and 45, and this would be a woods carry gun. Speaking of carry again, if you're going to carry it out in the woods and you're scared of the bear. Now, I wouldn't want a handgun if I was going to fight a bear, but I don't think I'd feel too underarmed with the 10mm, but I'm not looking for a bear fight. It's just, I think this would be a good woods gun. Even if you wanted to, I don't know, hunt white-tailed deer, I think this would be perfectly fine for that. Not a hunter, but I've always liked the caliber. Now, let's talk about that caliber. Where did the interest come from that caliber? Where did it come from? Well, let me tell you about where my interest for the caliber came from. My interest for the 10mm auto, which is not a very common caliber, you may have actually never heard of it before. I wouldn't have, unless it was for the recently departed Mr. Tom Clancy. I read about it in a book called Rainbow Six. Yes, the book that the video games are based off of. And yes, I played the video games first, and then I read the novel, and it's actually one of my favorite novels of all time. I actually am a huge fan of that novel and the video games. But anyway, in there, basically what the book is about is a special forces team, kind of like a SWAT team combined with like the Rangers or Navy SEALs or something like that, and they go around the world and they do different anti-terrorist operations, like breaking up hostage situations and stuff. It's a fantastic book. It's much deeper than that. But anyway, what they use is the Heckler & Koch MP10, which is an MP5, the one that you see all over the place in movies and video games and all that stuff, but chambered in 10mm. And I think that is just one of the most perfect weapon combinations imaginable. But first, you know, he said 10mm in the book. I'm like, 10mm? What is that just a form of media getting calibers wrong again? That doesn't exist. I mean, I've heard of 9mm, but 10mm, they're just making this up. But I looked it up, and it is, in fact, a real caliber. And here's how it came to be. In the 1980s, there was a famous shootout in Miami. The drug-running shootouts, you know, drug runners. Well, I don't know if that's actually why they were running. I'm just assuming because it's Miami in the 80s. Mang. So there was a famous shootout, and the FBI officers, I think they're FBI officers or the agents, I don't know, were using .38 special revolvers. And they were having some penetration issues, and I'm not sure. I think they lost a few of their men or agents or whatever, women, I don't know. They lost a few of their agents because of their guns. They felt run out. They felt their guns were unpowered. They were having penetration issues. Now, this was back with old technology. You have to remember that. .38 special is a lot different now. But they didn't know this at the time. All they knew is it was underpowered. So what they did was they knew they needed a new round. So they researched it, and they decided to go on the opposite end of the spectrum, from a sort of underpowered round at the time to overpowered. And they came up with the 10mm auto. And they gave it to their agents for a while, and this is what they carried. But when the agents were qualifying, some of the more petite agents, or maybe even just agents that aren't really good with firearms at all, could not handle the recoil of the stout 10mm cartridge. So what they started doing was adding less gunpowder to the 10mm cartridges. The amount of gunpowder they added are actually similar to the factory 10mm loads today. Well, most of the stuff, like you can get hot 10mm that's actually 10mm spec. But anyway, they realized if they were going to take some of the gunpowder out, why not just shorten the case? You don't need a real big gun like this. And they did, and that's how the 40 Smith & Wesson was made. So the 10mm is basically a 40 Smith & Wesson Magnum, but the reason they don't call it that is because it didn't go in that direction. Like where you have 38 and 357 Magnum, it went from the smaller 38 to the more gunpowder in the case 357 Magnum. With 10mm, it went the opposite direction. So while it might be a 10mm Magnum in heart, in thought, it didn't go in that direction, so technically it's not. But this is the granddaddy of the 40, and the 40 took out off way more than 10mm, leaving the 10mm as a bit of a cult caliber now. And unfortunately, I'm a member of that cult. Bring out the Kool-Aid and the white robes, am I right? But here it is, the Glock 20C. What is that about? Well, it's a Glock. So you know what it gets in the box, you know what it feels like and all that stuff. I mean, you get your gun, you get your 2 mags, you get your cleaning brush and all that stuff. You get your world's most useless magazine loader and all that great stuff. But it's a 20, so that means it's a 10mm auto. But what does that C about? Does that mean compact or... Does it stand for Krusty Krab? I don't know what it stands. What it stands for is compensated here. And on the top, you have slit outs for a compensator. But you'll notice that the barrel is silver. Well, and it has a picture of a wolf on it. That is because this is not the standard Glock barrel. I have a conversion barrel in there right now from Lone Wolf. I have the 40 conversion barrel in there right now because 10 and 40 are so similar that you can just swap the barrel and shoot the 40 in a 10mm gun. You need a different barrel though, because unlike the 357 and 38s and rounds like that, those rounds headspace at the rim, so you don't need a different chamber. Whereas with these rounds, the 40 and the 10, they headspace on the mouth of the case, so you need a different chamber so they headspace properly. You can shoot 40 in a 10mm barrel. I just wouldn't advise that bad things can happen because it uses the extractor to headspace, and it's not a good thing. But anyway, I have that conversion barrel in here. The actual barrel is over here in the Lone Wolf package. Open it here. Now, if you take a look at the barrel, right there you will see slits, and they make a V pattern when you shoot. And it's kind of like a top fuel dragster going down the strip when you shoot, especially at night. The flames shoot out in a V pattern, and that was one of the things that sold me on this. Now, there's a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt that goes on with these 20C models. Well, any C model from Glock. They say, oh, you'll shoot it and you'll get blinded at night from the flash. All of it is a bunch of complete nonsense. The people that have big problems with the C model Glocks are the ones who have never shot them. They hear internet myths and they just kind of go with it. Another one is that your front sight post will get all dirty and you won't be able to see it after a couple hundred rounds. It gets a little bit more dirty. Never been a problem for anybody that seems to have actually shot them and not just claims to be an expert because what they read on the internet. So this is the Glock 20C 10mm auto. But, you know, let's talk about the 10mm bullet here. Oh, excuse me, cartridge, because I know some people may be unfamiliar with it. Some Buffalo Bore heavy 10mm. Now, I actually ordered this stuff online. Oh, Jesus, don't tell Andy. Oh, my God. Oh, I ordered some ammo online. Don't worry, this was before us peasants in New York were banned from doing such things. I ordered this online. So let's take a look at one of these rounds and what they look like compared to some other rounds. Get one out of the package here. And this is a 10mm auto. It's in Starline brass. I'm not sure if it's going to focus, but that is what Buffalo Bore uses. Uses Starline brass. It ain't going to focus. But here it is. Let's compare it to a 40. You'll see why I say it could be a 40 Magnum. There we are. This is a 180 grain on the left and 180 grain on the right, but the one on the right is moving considerably faster. One on the left is a reload of mine. That's what it looks like, 10 between a 40. And let's take a look over here at my carry gun, which is going to pop out. It has 124 grain Spear Gold Dot plus Ps. So it looks like compared to a 9. And because I happen to have them out, this is what it looks like compared to a 380. Yeah, it's almost like a cartoonish thing. But anyway, let's put these rounds to the side here. I can have fun sorting those out later after this video. But anyway, this is the biggest frame Glock that they make. It's the same frame as the 21, which shoots 45 ACP. Now, what does that mean? It means nice, petite gun, 2x4. Yes, and I love it, because when you hold this gun, you know you're holding a gun. None of this pink willy-nilly stuff. No, you hold this, you know you're holding a gun. Not only does it weigh as much as about 10.5 decapitated mannequins, it also weighs more than that when you actually have a full magazine, but unfortunately it's empty right now. You know that you're holding a gun when you have this, which is fine. Oh, because I'm not going to use it for concealed carry, so I'm not huge on the weight, and weight actually helps you out if you're going for like target shooting, because weight and inertia means less movement of the sights when you have the sights lined up. If you have more weight, it's a little shiny there from I just cleaned it with Ballistol. If you have more weight, you have a less tendency to move the gun around. It slows it down because of the inertia. It's physics, people, learn it. I color-filled the words here, and I guess trademarks and letters and numbers and all that stuff. I color-filled it just like my other one. This one's fading. It needs to be color-filled again. I just used the white nail polish method. I think it looks great. I have, obviously, like I mentioned, the aftermarket barrel in. I want to replace on this the upgrades that I want to do. Don't really want to do any upgrades to this one. I want to replace the slide release here, the takedown lever, with an extended chrome one, because I hate these Glock stock one. I absolutely hate the stock Glock takedown lever. I want to replace the slide lock here with an extended chrome one, and I want to get the pins chromed, and maybe the extractor. I'm not sure, but I want to bling this one out just a little bit because I'm not going to be... Whoa, jump cut, the memory was full. But what I was saying is I'm not going to be carrying this gun. I am planning on using it for a bit of a home defense thing, so I'm not as worried about blinging it up. Oh yes, but if you have to use it in defensive shooting, then they'll be all mad at the bling. I'll take my chances. So, I was talking about the upgrades that I want to do. I left off with the pins. Another thing that I was thinking about is I want to get a Streamlight TLR1HL for the front of it, which is a flashlight, because this is the first Glock I have with a light rail. The subcompact one here is a little too small to have a light rail on it, so I do want to get a light rail for it. Now, what is interesting about this is it's a Gen 3 with a light rail there. They don't make a Gen 4C, and they're not going to. In fact, they stopped making the C models, I believe this year or maybe late last year. No more C models. I guess they weren't selling enough. I don't know. But I'm glad that I got one, because it's a little different, and I do enjoy the fact that it's going to shoot flames like a drag racer as I'm shooting it at night. But that's just me. I'm a little crazy like that. So, one more thing I'd like to do before I finish this video here, and I'm actually going to clear my 26 here. Now it's clear, no more complaining. We'll do I said this was the biggest frame Glock. We'll do a little size comparison here. Obviously, this is the full-size frame versus the subcompact, so that's not really a fair comparison, but the thickness is different too. Unlike the 17, the 19, and the 26, the 20 and the 21 have different frame sizes. It's thicker. So let's take a little look here. Oh, I've also got the Don't Tread on Me backplate. Isn't that cute? From a YouTube subscriber. It looks like here you can see it's considerably thicker there. Considerably thicker on the slide. And even though it's not really a fair comparison, considerably larger here. But I need to get that extended takedown lever on that, because I absolutely hate, again, I absolutely hate the Glock extended takedown lever. Now, the capacity on this is a whopping 10+1, because anything more would be dangerous for the children here in this wonderful state of New York. So yes, this came with the 2 magazines, and both of them were gimped, as they have to be here in the People's Republic of New York. Because remember, kids, 11 rounds of 10mm, safe as a button. 12, absolute baby-killing machine. Yes, I know. That's the common sense laws that they talk about. Isn't that just obviously common sense? Yes, I know that. I certainly felt that it was common sense. But that's about it. That's the 2 new guns here. One of them you've seen before. One was totally kind of out of left field here, but I did show the ammo off for it before. And that's it. That's the 2 new guns, and I mentioned earlier that I'm getting a progressive press to start feeding them. I'm still rushing. The SAFE Act is still affecting us. Thank you, mysterious talking person. Let me take over for a second. The one thing I wanted to mention, speaking of the SAFE Act, of why this is a good choice, is right here. The barrel. Well, not particularly this barrel. Somewhat this barrel. But the conversions available for the 20, because it is the 10mm, that means it uses the 10mm platform, and the grandson calibers of the 10mm platform are the 40, the 9x25 Dillon, and the 357 Sig, so you have a wide variety of stuff you can use, and those rounds use both 40 components and 9mm components, some of the most common components available. So if you happen to not be able to find a certain component, say you can't find 10mm brass, shoot 40. Say you can't find 40 brass, shoot 10mm. Lots of interchangeability. So I plan on getting a 10mm barrel, already have one, 40 barrel, already have one, a 357 Sig barrel, and a 9x25 Dillon barrel for this. So I will be set in my reloading endeavors, because I like to keep people safe here in New York, just like our good dear leader, Andrew. Thrilled for what he's doing, that he's looking out for people's safety. So that's why I'm going to have to go ahead and make my own ammo and I can buy in bulk because the interchangeability of these barrels and reloading components is just fantastic. So again, thank you, Andy. Now let's go back to that nice talking fellow there making the video of some guns or something. Because like I said, I had to spend money on that there Progressive Press. So, because let's not forget, I can't get any internet ammo. And I'm probably not going to be able to get most of these calibers here for any sort of a reasonable price. Now that they don't have to compete with the internet distributors, so they can charge you whatever the hell they want. It violates a commerce clause. There's actually laws in the books that say that you can't do that. It's a big federal law that says you can't do that. You can't create a monopoly on legal items that you can normally transfer in between the states. But there's also a law in the books that says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And when you do things like, oh, I don't know, confiscate guns from people and mess up free trade between individuals and interstate commerce, who cares if there's an interstate commerce clause? I mean, the right to keep and bear arms cannot be infringed. I mean, who cares if there's an interstate commerce clause? We don't follow any of that crap anymore. The only people that need to follow the laws are the civilians, not the government. Remember that. So keep that in mind. I know this was a long video, and you know what? Screw it. I like talking about guns. That's just the way it is. So thanks for watching, and take it easy, guys.